Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Community and Social Development Meeting, 15th of October. Before we start, I'd like to introduce you to two PCSOs, Chris Dix and Andrew Brown, who very kindly come along this evening. And what we're going to do, we'll deviate from the agenda slightly and we'll bring forward the skate park matter, which is, let's see now, item number.
Sorry, Rosie.
10, I think it is there.
Item 9, there, item 9, no,
7.
7. Yeah, we'll talk on 7. Item 7. And specifically, that's to do with the vandalism that we've encountered at the skate park. This is going back to June of this year. And it's fair to say that the amount of graffiti at the site has increased considerably. We were invited to a meeting with Paul Evans, the Community Safety Officer, City and County, for a community engagement exercise on the 27th of September. But really, it was an exercise in putting up posters, and it gave me a good opportunity to have a look at the amount of graffiti there, and I was absolutely horrified. You may or may not be aware that we have a policy on MCC that we won't tolerate graffiti. So the fact that it's not being dealt with, it's increased considerably, and that's very disappointing. The other thing I discussed with Paul Evans was the PSPO, a Public Space Protection Order, and whether there would be any advantage in having that there.
I don't understand what that is.
Well, it's something that falls under the ASBO regulations, really, antisocial behaviour that was introduced. And it's something that can be then implemented by the council, and then the police can then fine people for calling foul of that, made of £1,000.
Graffiti comes under that?
Didn't say that, no. But it is antisocial behaviour. Whether there's a case to answer for that, I don't know.
It is a possibility, and it's deployed in the city centre in relation to drinking alcohol. So you can put varying conditions depending on what the problem is.
Yeah.
Now, yes, in theory, could apply for one on the basis of graffiti. However, I would say graffitiing is a case of criminal damage, which is already an offence, which the police could deal with if we caught somebody in the process of committing. So I don't think it gives us any further powers than what we already have.
No.
The issue is catching people who are doing it.
Yeah.
Targeting the area.
One of our community councillors in Wales, Councillor Helen Nelson, has actually done a little bit of, she's taken pictures like you did, and she's noticed the same tags on various cash things. So she did send them in, because she said it's not just there, they're doing it all over the place. So it's not just the skate park. So maybe, is there cameras by the cash points to be able to find out who's spraying them? Who knows?
Yeah, where exactly?
She said she'd sent it all into the police.
Oh, okay.
West Coast shops.
West Coast shops, yeah.
They wouldn't cover the skate park. They are using
The same tags.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The tags.
This is Chris, that's Andrew there.
So maybe if we can catch them that way, if they're actually silly enough to have sprayed something in front of a camera.
Okay, you said nothing's been done about it. Who should have been doing something about it then? You said, I'm very disappointed that nothing has been done about it since last June.
Well, the clerk was dealing with it. And I think Paul may well have had an input at an early juncture. And it's possible the clerk then took it on board. And in addition to that, as was mentioned last night, Robert Fernando, through the environmental committee, he got involved. And you were sitting next to Carrie, so you've got an idea of what might have been going on there.
Then is going to link with exist.
Skate park, yeah.
Works for them now, so he's hoping to get exist down and use them as a focus, but that doesn't work, so we just got to do it ourselves.
You say do it yourselves, so what do you mean, removing these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
We can do it off the sides.
Yeah.
But we've got to be careful as if it's in the bowl, does that affect the finish. It's dangerous.
But we can do the tables and the sides.
Phil?
Well, thanks, yeah. When we say nothing was done, we have had a meeting with Swansea Council with regards to CCTV, potentially putting up the fly tip camera.
Yeah.
So I believe we've had a quote for that, and it's potentially one of the things that might be in the budget for next year. So it's been approved by the council, I believe, verbally approved by the council. They did. Swansea, yeah. Kerry and myself were in a meeting about a month ago on that. So I think as obviously they haven't got the funds at the moment, but Kerry's been away for a month, so I'm not the doubt she's done anything with it. But I would expect her to be putting, or us to be putting it to the next budget.
Through this
The
committee.
problem, I guess so, yeah. The problem is that the battery has to be changed every month or so, so it'd have to be built into either Rob's job or someone's. But that's the only thing we've got to work through. But I think it would be a deterrent. It'd be a deterrent, certainly.
yeah, of course, much so. I mean, it's one thing clearing away the existing graffiti, but are we just creating a blank bus?
Yeah.
Start again. So it would do
Well,
that, but it has to come with target on it. And if we get the camera, it has to fit.
So to give you a wee bit of history might help. When the skate park was being built, the Mumbles Skateboarder Association, Skate Park Association,
MSC.
that has since folded. And I think the last of the money that they raised went in for the last coating on the surface of skate park itself. Now, to explain, I'm sorry if you've all heard this before, the rest of you. There's an issue with cleaning graffiti off the skatable surface because although it's been damaged by the paints that are put onto it, obviously then removing that graffiti would damage the surface around it as well. So traditionally you can't go and spray or use the manual forms of removing. You'd have to use a chemical, or you'd have to use something, and then the actual skatable surface. However, the upright surfaces could have, your average graffiti go away sprays used on them, but then they work to a differing degree depending on the colour of the paint and how much you use, etc. So it's not always a perfect solution. You can get rid of what you can see. So, for example, you can perhaps get rid of rude words or all that kind of stuff, but you might not be able to get all the colour out or all the things. So you'd end up with a sort of a bit of a multicoloured tapestry if you weren't able to lift it straight away. So that solution has also been raised with the clerks. In other words, to reduce the amount that is visible when you're approaching. But obviously those flat surfaces, the ones particularly the steps up to the bowl where a lot of people sit with their bags, that's particularly bad.
Yeah.
So the flat surfaces, the uprights, the step, as it were, could be done, but not the surface itself.
Yeah.
And then you can use those quite easily on the recyclable plastic benches as well, because of course, they're not particularly damaged by that particular chemical. but to actually remove the graffiti from the skatable surfaces, I think that quote that came in that we were discussing last night was about £1,900 to do it once.
Can I add something there? I was thinking about that. Now, I know I've heard someone in the skate park, I can't remember who told me, but there is a paint you can apply after you've removed it, which means that the tags don't sink in.
Yes,
Yeah.
anti-graffiti paint,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm glad somebody else has. So, so maybe that quote might have been for the clearing to apply.
I don't know. It's not, at the moment, because the clerk has been on holiday.
Yeah.
And, once she comes back, she can send light in us as to how things have progressed by her.
Just to clarify for Ian's benefit, Rob Lando was a member of staff here because of his existing links to exist. Basically brought this up conversationally, because he was fully up for organising a volunteer session to scrub, as much as we could off the skate park, using some of the spray sort of stuff, but unfortunately.
But I think he was waiting for an invite from Beauty and Social.
And bearing in mind that this was right at the end of July, and when he was leaving, I think he just ran out of time, basically.
Well, I'd never even heard of his involvement.
It was a suggestion he was going to.
Nobody, excuse me, and nobody had brought it to committee.
No,
Yeah, just quickly, I think we've got a solution we're looking at, haven't we, which we're to wipe it off and try with the volunteers. And I think the CCTV will be a good deterrent if we can put that in the budget for next year, hopefully, as long as everyone else agrees. Like,
As well,
Yeah.
because next
But we
time
need
they
to-
to
so
get.
I think there's
Needs to be coordinated.
yeah, and
So once it's been, the camera needs to be in
Yeah.
place, the anti-graffiti paint needs to be on, so we're not.
Yeah.
You've got to take it, if you'd have built the skate park and their advice is crucial, because it.
Yeah.
I think that was half the problem,
Yeah,
really.
well,
We've
contract with them,
so
contract with them if we use something that they say shouldn't be used.
yeah, but we have sought that advice.
that's why we're not doing the surface. Just doing the
We'll
side.
just do the sides and leave the book for when they can,
Well,
yeah.
let's just get on with it.
Yeah.
But I-
What about the sort of bins and the table? Is that
The table's shocking.
Swansea City Council was there and he was on the thing and he said, oh, I'll do this for you today. Normally I would have to charge you. I go down the prom and I wipe the graffiti off everything. I said, well, why don't you wipe it off? He said, because I'm not being paid to do that.
No.
So there's one of the council workmen who carries the stuff around with him in his car.
Yeah.
So why are we have to pay Swansea City Council to do that?
Again, I would just say that, for the go down there, a couple of volunteers, go and scrub a bench. I think if we are actually able to coordinate a little session, maybe even advertise it as, skate park tidy day or something like that. Then as long as we follow, these chemicals are freely available to buy across the counter in, from Screwfix, and as long as the health and safety advice that's given on the instructions, then we should, be able to do it as long as we
Well,
can.
we get involved with that.
Yeah, but we've got to be careful of the children because it's a dangerous chemical.
That's what we're waiting for. We haven't got any other volunteers, see? But that's in the cupboard. It's a regular stuff.
It's funny actually, you raised that. First thing in the morning, a few volunteers down there before the park gets busy. We
It's
would.
actually quite good for parents and other people to see us doing it
Yeah.
because we'll explain, this is what we end up having to do.
The unfortunate thing is, skate parks they encourage this sort of, I live in the sign and the one said in that they're burning it. The last couple of weeks they've been burning items, but there's loads of graffiti up there. You scrub it back as much as you want, because as Chris said, it's going to be a blank canvas then.
Got the TV there.
I know they were looking at putting it there, but it's certain criteria, is and all that as well, they got to look at.
I gather they're throwing stones at the cars going past.
Yeah, well, that's because it's all,
Is it closed?
yeah, it's enclosed, they're looking at cutting the tree line down now as well, but
Yeah.
you should have to do that.
You can't.
But unfortunately, graffiti goes,
Well,
you know, it's just, it's wrong.
I
No, we did.
told you so, but when this
Yeah.
idea was first mooted, I said there would be issues. And nobody wanted to listen to it, to be perfectly honest.
Well, with respect.
Because in the,
With respect.
It's
not good.
It's always kids now.
Say, you know, Ian is right. Ian is right in the fact that, you know, there was a commitment by our council to keep that area as clean as
Yeah.
possible. And to be frank, you know, if obviously encourage local users to take pride in it and to obviously keep that to an absolute minimum. You're not going to be able to stop the people that really want to do it and tag it. But as long as people see that it's being cleared and sorted reasonably quickly, I can't guarantee next day service, but you know, I think
Well,
we've gone as long as we really need to go. Don't we?
they've tarnished the whole complex there, as far as I'm concerned.
I think it was.
There's no respect.
What we found in the past is it is
No
not the
respect at all.
skaters who are doing it.
No.
It's people coming in from as far afield as
Well,
Newport.
whomever is doing
But
it,
it's not,
I
it's not the skaters who are doing it, it's the people.
Yeah.
coming
But what I would also say is it doesn't
will bring
look
it to
good on us. It doesn't look good on us. You know, if it's
Just being like,
It's a question of lawlessness.
Yes, it
which
does. It
Makes
does.
the situation worse if it continues.
Yeah.
So
Because I think
sooner
the-
it's dealt with, the better.
I think the idea was that we would clear anything straight away.
I think we've got a patrol strategy there anyway, haven't we? Yes, but yeah, it's
Do patrol
but
there.
again, they could be doing it stupid o'clock in the morning, you don't know.
So, thing to.
No, we've got the
Southwest and Granges and to spend an hour there a week.
Well, we
Make sure there's any extra
Yeah, we
clearing up.
will put it towards the budget.
I think that's because it's our
Probably
space.
to be honest, gonna be different.
well, we'll have the minute anyway.
Yeah, gotta.
Had a very pleasant discussion there, and thank you both.
No worries.
What we'll do,
Thank you, so really wanted.
what we'll do is we'll minute the fact that the business will go from Underhill to go to the skate park. And we can confirm then with Kerry about and that the proposal is to have it on the budget for next year.
Just to clarify, Chair, it's the camera from Underhill to.
No, not the camera, but we'll take the camera.
Post.
Yeah, the metal pole
Out of the
down.
playground and.
Yeah.
So do we have any recommendations before council on this or no?
So I think that because that is in a cost to it, and we haven't got any budget for it, we'd have to put it into the next year's budget, I guess.
Yeah.
So someone will have to do a budget proposal form.
Yeah.
Submit it, and then, you know, we'll discuss it at council, I guess.
So sorry,
It won't be much, won't be much.
just our proposal last night was to get on with sorting it as best as we could, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were gonna go away and organise a voluntary led thing.
Yes, we will be doing it.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I think.
That's where I went.
It's just me listening properly, sorry.
Just before we move on to the next item, Paul, do you think there's anything else you can add to what's been said?
Not really, Chair. I think we went through it last night and we came up with a proposal for the for doing these sort of upstands of the site, and I think that's really what we need to address in the next month, just to see if we can make some progress in cleaning up, and then we can consider what we do about the bowl then on a next month's council, I think it was. But I think the important thing is, if you're going to put cameras there, we do need to get that budget proposal form done as soon as possible, so it can be agreed at next month's committee, and then it goes forward into the budget setting council then at the end of January.
Aside for the work to be done in the interim period, the 1900, Is that coming from contingency or where?
There is an amount in the committee's budget for graffiti removal, but I'd have to check what it is. I think, as I said last night, it's probably only a few £100 rather than 1,900. So we could use what's in the budget and then ask for the balance to come from contingency.
Do you know where the figure of 1,900 came from?
I assumed it was a price that Kerry got from a contractor.
That's correct, yeah.
All right, thanks for that. Thanks very much. Okay.
You've been really helpful. Thank you so much, Ross.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Keep us in the loop. Nice to see you
Yeah.
back as well. Thank you very much.
And what I will say, gents, is I will let you know when when we're ready to sort of organise volunteer session. If you want to, you know, what have you. But what I will probably also do is before we go down the seeing all the chemicals that are needed to do that, is I'll probably do a test area in a least obvious place where there is graffiti, just to see whether the stuff that we can buy over the counter is going to work.
We will
If it's
send
not,
a picture.
if it doesn't work,
Okay.
then you know it's
Can be.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. See you. See you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Let's go back to number one. Say apology.
Yeah.
Got a full house, aren't we lucky? Declarations of interest. Minutes of the previous meetings of the committee. The 18th of June, 17th of September. Everyone happy with those? Item number 4, outstanding actions. Well, a number of things have been cleared up now, so we haven't got as many on the list as we've had before. The matter concerning the suds at Langland Tennis Courts, that's been dealt with, so that's off the list. There was another one about an email between Sarah and the clerk. That's closed. Inviting Patrick, PCSO, well, all that is old news now. We've got new ones now. Still waiting to hear back from the clerk with regards to an email to Mind. That was in connection with the bereavement matter. We've touched lightly on the business of the camera. Right, relocating the pole, that's been dealt with. Ashley Haynes to do the repair on the grass down at the skate park. And there was the roller skating rink proposal, and that's an email that the clerk will be dealing with.
Roller skating rink proposal?
We're in receipt of a letter from a gentleman, and he was advocating, would we be supportive of a roller skating rink in the Mumbles area? And I don't think we've got the budget for that sort of thing at the moment, but if somebody felt very strongly about it, obviously they could put it forward before the end of the month for a budget proposal. But Kerry was going to be writing back to the gentleman, but that came in a couple of meetings ago.
I suppose the basketball court will be open access and actually tarmac, so.
I don't think
It'd be really popular. No.
I don't think it's big enough that
All right.
it would be big enough.
yeah.
You know, if somebody going around with blades on. Anyway. Did that cover the outstanding action, Ian?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. And item number 5, budget monitoring reports. The RFO has provided us with those. I did have a query. Where is it? Budget.
It's very big.
Yeah. We've got a couple on the report, Paul, in red. Well, we've got three.
Yep.
So there's nothing to be alarmed about with those.
No, I'll just quickly go through those. The first one is some expenditure for Underhill Park. Obviously, that will be moved. I need to move that from there to the Underhill hub.
Okay.
Can the mic be turned off there, please?
Beg your pardon, Paul.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, so that'll be moved to the hub, so that'll be nil. So that'll remove that one. There's the skate park grant is showing as red. That's because the grant was actually received last year, so that needs to be carried forward into the current year, and that's something that will be dealt with. And the same with the West Cross Pantry. There was a grant received for that last year, so that needs to be carried forward, which will then clear all the three items which were in red.
Has anyone got any comments on the budget monitoring?
These are all, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything there that would cause me concern. Properly with their budgets, so.
Yeah.
Possibly the only other thing I would suggest, Chair, is that the £6,000 at the end for the Southend Gardens Petanque piece. I don't think anything has happened with that so far this year. So if you're happy, I'll contact Carrie, who put that forward, and ask her if or how we can make progress on spending that money this year.
I'm not sure if that's been done.
What's that?
The new piece down at Southend Gardens for the Petanque.
No, it hasn't been done, no.
It's not.
Francesca's got a round up. She's.
Oh, Francesca, please.
Thank you, Chair. No, Will, what about, I'm assuming Carrie's aware that we've had that meeting, because should we ring fence that, because if the council are going to do anything down there?
Myself and Francesca met with the Petanque team, I suppose, all of them about 3 or 4 months ago, where they've requested us to just chase up with Swansea Council a certain size on the Southend Gardens for being a Petanque pitch. So we're waiting for a quote to come back from Swansea Council for that. So Francesca's saying it's probably a good idea to keep that money to one side in case that does come off, which makes sense.
Yeah, I think the matter arose because one of the piece that they used was underneath the tree, and they were a bit
the ball's hitting it, yeah.
A bit feared in case a branch came.
No, actually, the ball.
Well, if they throw it incorrectly up in the air and it goes into the tree, well, you know, it can bounce off the branch and come back and bite them. So,
yeah.
But I never had that problem when I was playing. Did I tell you? I was quite proficient at it, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got my own set, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but there we go. Moving on. I don't know if you got the drift of that, Paul. They were talking about ring fencing that 6,000.
Yeah, I did hear that, Chair. That's fine. I'll just leave it as it is, and then if when the quotes come back, then we can decide what, or the committee can decide what to do with that budget.
Bring Will in.
Yeah, I think if knowing what Swansea Council like with their quotes, if the council does want to implement that, then you're going to be looking at putting at least 15 grand into the budget for next year. I would think so. It's something for people to think about.
Okay, thanks, Will.
Okay. Right.
Sorry, we don't need to vote on the budget, do we? Sorry.
No. No, we accept the report, yes?
Yeah.
All in favour of accepting the report, yeah. The next item is the budget 26-27. Well, You know, we brought this up in the past. We have till the end of the month to put forward proposals. So bear that in mind, please.
I was going to, if you don't mind, Chair. Paul, is there any chance you can send out the budget forms again, just to councillors for any new proposals?
Yeah, they have been sent, but I will send them again. Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Paul. I must have missed it. It's probably deep somewhere in my bin.
Yeah, no problem, Phil.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next item is the Langland, well, it's the basketball court at Langland, let's call it that. That was dealt with at full council last evening, so we've got a resolution on that. So I think we can class that as being dealt with.
Yeah, and Paul, is in his efficiency, is already told the contractor that they can get going. So they've ordered the fence in already. They've got a 6-week lead time at least, so it'll be at least 6 weeks. But we'll see. Hopefully, you know what will happen. Then it'll be the weather will be too bad, but at least it's in the pipeline.
Was it resolved, the matter concerning the, shall we say, the convenience, the toilet convenience?
I've asked the question, but I haven't seen a reply. Whether it's come through on my emails late. Looking at it, it says welfare and toilets. So I assume, as was mentioned last night, it is for the is the toilet. It's for a welfare room as well.
Yeah. Stay to the weather.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I would say we give them a hut, but the huts cost more than that.
Okay, so we're all happy with that. So we've got, that was an action point, the Langland tennis courts. So it's all clear now, it's gone.
Okay.
As it was gone. Skate park. The next item is the Underhill Park, the car park. You on?
It was me, yeah. So we, as in my capacity with Newton Athletics, we had a committee meeting last week or the week before last, and quite a few of the coaches raised concerns about the car park there. One of the issues being when they've got a load of kit to bring down, they can't get car park space. Parents can't get car parking spaces. The kids are turning up late to train, and obviously you touched on this last night, well, with the lighting. And basically they were just asking, is there anything that can be done? Is there a way that there can be like 1 or 2 spaces drawn out, perhaps allocated for coaches, or can coaches have access via the road down by the hub, just to drop things off, for training? Because one of the coaches, he's having to like park up on Langland Corner, carry big heavy bags all the way down, because he's in. We have 2-hour slots on a Friday, and he's in the second hour. So by that time, the car park's already rammed. So unless he comes down an hour and 10 minutes earlier than he needs to, he's got no hope of getting space, basically. So they were just asking, can we discuss it? Is there anything that can possibly be done?
So they've got a storage facility down there now.
Yeah.
So this is, they need those. Why don't they keep the balls and stuff like that in that?
I did ask him that, and in a separate issue, our storage container has become a mess, but we've resolved that now by sourcing some racking, which literally just arrived today. So that can be tidied up. So hopefully that will resolve that slightly. More stuff can be stored in there. So yeah, but then certain things can't be left in there if they're taking them to like matches on the weekend or whatever, and then bringing them back and forth. They can't leave everything in there all the time, apparently.
No. Jack, is so the car park's not big enough.
No.
And it's chaos. Like
we can't do much.
when you've got like one lot leaving, one lot coming, it is chaos. And we do need to longer term think about, what we do with the car park. But again, it's more money on Underhill, and I totally get that, but it isn't good enough for the size of the facility. And it also, is it doesn't work for, we can't hire it out as much, and they can't use it for mini leagues on Saturday and Sunday because the parking's not good. So it would increase revenue if we could as well.
Sorry to interrupt you, but if I could just ask a question in the middle of that, is the heavy plant still being parked there?
No, there's a
The
skip
work
still
that's
there.
going on with the wall and with the one at the beginning of Brooklyn Terrace.
There's a skip there, which is ours, but there's not.
Surely, you know, you only just an earth move, you could make that bigger because you cut the bank away.
Yeah,
There's going to come to trees down it.
the MCA have done a plan, a car park plan,
Right.
and it's
Extend it.
yeah, and you know what it's like when people park up in a unmarked area. You get half as many cars as you get in a marked area. It did require, I think, felling 2 trees maybe or something, but they're quite central. Anyway, driving down it makes sense to have coach parked in the middle, but I got mixed feelings about that personally because I have seen, I won't name any names, I have seen a coach, I won't say what club either, driving very fast down there because he was late for training, and there was a kid coming out.
I know, and it worries
went
me.
over
as
that
well,
speed
yeah.
bump, and if that kid had been 3-4 seconds later, he would have been in a bad way, you know.
Yeah.
So I've got mixed feelings about that because I think personally, even though there's loads of space there, I don't think we should have anyone parking there.
No, and I personally agree with that. I'm just kind of passing it on.
Yeah, and I don't know what the answer is. See, if you have coach reserved parking, I totally agree with it, but who's going to police it is the thing.
I think that will work, to be honest.
That's the thing.
Chair, can I?
The land.
What Swansea Council size.
You know that for a long time there's a huge bank of earth because they used to have earth there that people could go along and take the peat for their garden. And there's tons of it, but then they couldn't do it because gypsy rule. But is that all gone?
Yeah, mostly, it's all been.
So it has been cleared as much as it can be cleared.
Yeah, mostly gone. Yeah.
Sorry.
Observation, Chair.
Certainly.
There's a big car park. I know it's a fee paying car park at the top of Queen's Road, which is literally about 30 yards from the hub. There's plenty of spaces. Would there be any option to buy a number of spaces or something? No.
It's a pretty good idea. The only problem with that, you know, sorry to jump in, Phil, but just a point. The only problem with that is it hasn't got planning permission, and it shouldn't actually be there. For if the council was getting involved, we'd be endorsing something that doesn't have. If someone got injured there, we'd be then liable. You know, it's just typical government thing.
That's being cheaper.
They have, but it hasn't got planning.
So you're not supposed to park there anyway.
It's not got planning, so
It shouldn't be. People shouldn't.
it shouldn't be.
There you go.
So I really appreciate it. It's almost the same sort of issue that, well, it's a longer period of time really than people have at school pick-up and drop-offs. And that's perhaps something that Underhill may wish to consider, is actually whether there is some sort of pick-up and drop-off policy of people not parking on site and trying to I'm thinking of this, I suppose, from an environmental perspective. So although it's great to have people come down, we want people to come in and use the hub, but there will be a lot of people driving up that drive, who aren't going to park. They're literally just dropping off the kids, going and doing their business, and will be back in an hour's time to pick up the kids.
In my experience, certainly the age my children are, most of the parents would stay in the duration, for training and matches.
Because they turn up at our hub afterwards sometimes.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
But how far are they willing to work? If you come out of the lane, just go up in the big road. There's lots of parking on the winding road that links up to the higher road.
But as I was going to continue on, is that because it is one of these sort of mixed use situations, so you're not going to get that from one sort of. You need several different approaches to managing traffic throughout the week for the entire site. So there will be days where you want to utilise every single possible inch of that car park, and there'll be other days where it really doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But it's actually then getting that message across to people at the right time, for the right users at the right time. And I think, and I would propose that we pop this back to the Underhill working group, as it were, to look at. So
I mean, I love the idea of a coach park because as you know, I coach in Bishopston, and you know, even when you have got to carry it 100 meters, it's a pain in the ass with all the goals in the back. So I do, if there was a way to police it, I think it'd be a good idea.
I think it's quite a good
I
idea.
just don't think there's a way that realistically it could be done. You know, that's my only hesitation with it. I think we could certainly put some signs up to encourage people to walk. You know, like I did the poo posters. You know, like pick up your poo. The kids did the poster at the school. You could do something like that and encourage parents to walk.
I tend to walk down, but not everybody can. Not everybody lives close enough.
No, but what's really needed is investment in the car park to make it bigger. Because although the bigger you make a car park, the more people park there and more people will drive, fine. But the problem is that you're always going to have a capacity. You're never going to have over a certain amount. There's 50 people, 50 kids playing at once. So you're never going to have 60, 70 kids.
Well, I'm rugby on like on a Sunday morning. You've got people matches rugby.
We could charge, you know. We could charge and make the money back on the.
But also, I think if there was a bit more structure in the park, like if there were marked bays, and if the I understand that. If the access in and out was a bit better, like you say, because people trying to pass each other, it becomes chaos. If that was wide enough for 2 cars all the way,
We are within our powers to pay for it, charge people to park there, or a yearly membership or park, something like that. It is something. I don't know whether there's the political will for the council to spend hundreds of thousands on a car park there, but might be more than that, maybe 500-600 grand probably.
Oh no.
At least 300-400 at least.
That would be very hard to.
It's like the old Corrie car park quote, isn't it? I mean, what if we built that, it would have taken us until 2060 to
make it. There was a same
the old doctor's site right opposite. For them to open up bays.
I think he used to rent it to. I don't want to say his name on camera. It's probably to be fair, but he used to rent it to taxis. But I believe there was a egress issue. Yeah, with the.
Yeah.
Anyway,
thank you for bringing it forward, but
still say, Laura, in terms of, an individual coach being able to drive up and do that, I mean, I'm sure, isn't that something that the Underhill Management Committee could just, give day-to-day permission for?
If you've ever been if you've been to that car park in the night, it's like Mad Max, right? We've got people. But I know because you haven't got, with all due respect, right? If you haven't got young children, you're not dropping them off in the dark. These lights will. Right?
I'm sorry.
People pull up.
Yeah. Be specific. I was talking about coming up.
From Newton Road.
The always coming up.
It's not a good idea using that.
It
does get used, I know,
but just specifically for drop off and pick up.
Again, there's no lights there. There's no lights there. A kid's crossing coming out of the park. On your head. I'm not having anything to do with that. I don't want to be the one who makes that decision.
I don't.
No, I
you want to do.
When Mr. Hill was first muted, I said, right at day 1, you're going to have lighting. And there was no lighting put in. It's a health and safety.
We told them to put lighting in, they refused.
Well, we can all sit here for another hour. Can't we?
I think management of your storage space is a good place to start.
Definitely.
I think this would be about storage, a lot about Underhill where they've got to mess around and muck around until it's viable and it's holding its own, and then we can look at investment.
It won't be really helpful in the next month or so to have feedback. Certainty, a bit more certainty.
I think that's common sense. It's a very good point.
Good feedback, please.
Okay. Well, we close the meeting, I think. Can I go?
You know, the one with the-
Okay, thanks all.
Thanks very much.
Sticks out about.
So-
Do you know anybody?
I don't know.